Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Saturday, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us at USA Global TV and Radio. I feel like an angel. It looks like I'm flying around over here. So we are thrilled to have you. Our Friday show that's been going on for years now, Coexistence and Sustainability with pet psychic Amina. This is a show where we talk about all things related to pets, as well as saving Mother Earth and also doing the right things for our planet and for humanity. So without further ado, let's welcome the star of our show, joining us from California. She is not only a pet psychic, but she's also a trainer. She is a public speaker. She is someone who is extremely well educated when it comes to wildlife, and she's somebody who really cares about making this world a better place. Pet psychic Amina, come on out.
Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I need to go apply for some really snooty, uptight job and have you tell my resume, because I'd get the job. Thank you so much. All true. And I'm totally blessed. As I've always said, my mom had 5 kids. She was a almost only child herself. So that was a lot of children for a woman never growing up with siblings. And I got to do this from literally from the time I turned 10. And I was almost this tall, so everybody thought I was older. I got a lot of way with a lot of things. Somebody actually offered me beer once, and I was like, yeah, no. I might be tall, but I'm not an idiot. So I don't need to. Because you can imagine what my mother or father would have said, like, why do you smell that way?
Yeah, what's that smell?
So, whoever's out there listening, whoever's out there listening, whatever your path is, don't think that it's one path. It could be 4 paths. It could be 6 paths. And you might have the ability to use them all into one path. And that's where I've come in with Dr. JACALYN. I really, really appreciate you. You found me. We hit it off. And I get to spend Fridays doing what my family's tired of hearing about. Is all the animals and all the things we can save. And don't get that pet, or all of the advice I can possibly give to everybody having at least a better enriched life, because that's what pets do. And you having had a pet, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And, I think the topic, we've discussed it before, but it's very important because in this country, we're changing seasons. I know the clocks are going to change shortly. I know over in the United Kingdom, clocks are changing. Mm-hmm. So this is a time of year when creatures who are used to living outside and it's been a certain way, now they're like, oh, I got to go find a place that's nice and warm. And a lot of times they want to bury themselves in our pets. And so I think it's kind of tough, because when we're talking about coexistence and sustainability and everything has a right to be here, when we think about ticks, for example, they present danger with Lyme disease, et cetera. So first of all, can you share a little bit about, if you know this, because I don't think you are an expert in bugs. I forget what they're
Not
called.
Yet. I'm getting there. Ask me anything about the honeybee. Oh, I'm
you're good
over
with
that one. We've had whole chapters on that one.
But with the tick lives by sucking blood from.
He's our vampire.
Yeah,
he is, and there's actually animals out there that the world calls them like not just a vampire bat. They're meaning that they use a lot of blood from somebody else and other animals. So ticks are the same thing. They are sucking on your blood. Can they give you diseases? Absolutely. Anything that breaks our skin barrier. If you fall playing baseball and you slide into home and you take off half your knee skin at the same time, That's why they're so important to clean, wash with just plain old water. Clean out the dirt or sand, whatever got it under your skin. Literally, if you've missed the base in a baseball team or basketball and you've fallen, if the skin is compromised, and this is what these bugs do, and mosquitoes the same way. They have this wonderful long little, I don't know, antenna going the wrong way, and they pierce through the skin, get the little blood they need, but they also can carry disease. It's not all of them. It's not in every state. You have to learn to protect yourself. I spent a summer in Alaska, and their trees just shocked the heck out of me. Nobody prepared me for their trees. Their trees are really, really small, and tied to your dinner table or something, because they don't get long-term sun. So they're adapting to that. What you need to worry about is what kind of bugs they have in the place you are. Where are you going? Are you hiking? You need to cover your ankles. You need to cover your feet. You need to wear the right shoes. And you have to find out if bug spray works for you. It doesn't for everybody. Some of them have a perfume-ish attitude into the spray, so it's not as, off-putting by most people when they get sprayed with it. But it doesn't also prevent everything. There's some really great tips for some bugs and not others, but Dr. Jacalyn, can you think of something that you might saute into with your steak or put on your hamburger? On a hamburger might be a little longer stretch. What kind of bug would also keep mosquitoes away?
Bug? Spiders? No.
No, not technically. Mosquitoes.
What kind of bug? I thought you said what kind of bug keeps mosquitoes away.
No. Sorry, and I probably read it backwards because I'm giving out the answer before this. I need more sleep. But that was fun. Yes, mosquitoes of any kind. You go up to Alaska, and they are huge. They literally made stuffies out of them. Like stuffed bears. They made stuffy spiders. And I think they're not very cute. But having spent a summer in Alaska, oh my gosh, we were in long sleeves, long turtlenecks, and it's the middle of the summer. So it was a little humid and dry. But that blood sharing is not a good, safe place. Now, can you die? Well, I'm sure we can die from pretty much everything. Think about where you're going. Think about what's out there to prevent any bug getting there. First of all, wear long sleeves, wear long pants. Hikers know this. We wear a lot of long socks that go above our boot so that bugs getting in from where we're walking, all of that type of stuff. But this keeps you healthy. Is it for everybody? No. Maybe you're the stay on the treadmill inside person. Great. You can in this day and age, you can put YouTube on and have wonderful pictures go by, and you can imagine that you're walking outside. Getting out and getting exercise and having the respect that all animals and bugs and snakes all have a right to be here. I still need to find out about the mosquito. That always stops me. What was the benefit here? But I know a lot of bug-friendly scientists that can answer those questions for you. Just think about it. You need to protect yourself because mosquitoes can carry more than just swapping blood. So think about that when next time you go out, wear long sleeves, wear gloves if you need to, wear a turtleneck if you need to. Just depends on how invasive they are. So like Dr. Jacalyn, you have seasons where they're really bad and they're not all the time. Is that still true?
Well, now I'm in New Jersey, so we definitely have seasons. Here in Florida, there weren't that many seasons. But yeah, what I think is interesting is, some folks like to put their dogs and cats in the bed with them. Literally, they're in the bed, they're on the bed. And so they may have ticks or they may have been bitten by a mosquito. What are your thoughts about that? Are humans able to get infected by? Yeah, tell us a little more.
Yeah, we are one of the our bodies are put together pretty well, but in this generation, I'm just as bad as everybody. I'm not no finger pointing here. Is we have the worst diet ever in history. I think we're all eating. My favorite terrible thing is Captain Crunch. Especially when I was young, my mom didn't buy that kind of stuff. So does it have any nutritional value? No, it's just yummy. That's the donut and the coffee that you put all the cream in every morning. People who are, coffee drinkers, and that's great. There's some fabulous coffees I understand out there, but is it good for your body? Mosquitoes are after the blood. They almost probably don't care how much you drank of Coke or cola or or any other drink. I can't think of it. You had a vodka, you had lemonade. They're looking for your blood system. And the way that mosquitoes work, they have, if you want to think of it as a little antennae, and it goes down in, sucks the blood. And so there's an interaction between the mosquito's body and your body and the main source, blood. We have all our nutrition, all our vitamins. It's all flowing through that system. What you need to do is, first of all, be really aware of where you're at and what kind of animals and bugs you're dealing with. Wear long sleeves. You can put Skin So Soft. It's an Avon product, and it's a baby oil. So everybody's like, it's kind of counterintuitive. I don't know, Dr. JACALYN, if you've ever tried it, but it has, of course, a flowery smell. It's usually made for women. So men are going to go, what? But for some reason, now I haven't used this in a long time because I'm out of the bug section of my life. And I did this probably until I was in my mid late 20s. I always had that baby oil with me. Put it on a little cotton ball, rub it around, and I was free of being molested by a bunch of biting mosquitoes. I don't know why it works. It's something in that product. And just think your skin's soft on top of it. So don't think you have to just look at the Five and Dine or your pharmacist, or that everybody has a great deal of knowledge if you pick the right people. Think about that when you're deciding, hey, I really have a tough time around anything that bites. Put some Avon Skin So Soft, because it's an Avon product, so you'd have to find somebody who sells it, and then you dab it on. See if it goes well. I know it did for me when I was in Bugland. So kind of weird stuff. I love going and giving weird advice. People remember it longer. Even if they disagree with me completely, guess what? You still remembered it.
Yes. Now, can you put Skin So Soft on your dogs and cats?
You can. It is safe. What I would watch carefully is make sure you look at the ingredients, see what color number this and yellow number that. That's all the junk in our food and our coloring, because we all want everything pretty or smells nice or all that kind of stuff. If you're going to put it on yourself and or your pet, put it on a little cotton ball first. You could put it on a piece of toilet paper for all anybody cares, but cotton balls hold a little bit more, and dab it on one place of, let's say it really gets bit. I know when I was just camping and we were in sleeping bags, no cots or cabins or anything like that, I got my hand, I guess, outside my sleeping bag while I was in Idaho, and they had a terrible mosquito issue, and just that arm got all bit up because I exposed it. So think sleeves, think keeping under. You can put the Skin So Soft. It will not ruin your clothes that I'm aware of. It does have an oil factor in it, so it's going to make your skin, much less your clothes, a little oily, but give it a try. You could probably get a sample from Avon. You maybe don't have to buy an entire bottle. Again, I haven't bought any in a long time. I haven't been in Bugland for a while, but look at what is in it. What we guess, because I'm not a scientist here, I didn't test it. It's the floral smell artificially put in and the oil combination that the bugs, the mosquitoes specifically, can't get past the oil barrier. So I'm like, yay, less bites, and I get softer skin on top of that. So think about what your body does and try a little. Try a little on your hand, try a little on your finger, wherever you want to try it, on your side, somewhere that's easy for you to get it off. That's not fair. I don't want to use most. A lot of people have allergies that come on instantaneous all the way to 3 days from now. And you won't know that until you try it. So try that. And when you don't want any kind of smelly anything on you or body oil, wear long sleeves, wear turtlenecks, wear a hat, wear gloves, keep your boots on and your socks higher than the boot. This is a great way to walk through bugs. And ticks are a part of this. I'm not just talking about mosquitoes. I'm talking about the little biters that are vampire-ish and they want your blood. That can get even more dangerous because everything they're in contact with, and they basically have something that numbs the skin, and that's how they get through to your blood. Not a good idea. A lot of people are allergic, having a rash where whatever that chemical is. I'm not a bug expert. So think about that. If you're going to a place that has a lot of mosquitoes, make sure you maybe have a scarf more than a hat, and you wear long sleeve and you wear long pants, and on the long pants you wear long socks and they meet and cover over. There's a lot you can do on your own without ever going into chemicals or any kind of treatment that's outside of your clothes.
Yeah, you got to cover up, really. It's a good idea.
You really do.
So a person finds a tick on their dog. What's the best thing to do? Go to the vet?
Do not run over and pull it out. That's the first thing we all do is like, oh my God, they've got my dog. And they get a tweezers or something and they pull it out. Do you know why, Dr. JACALYN? I might say, don't run and do that in 30 seconds or less.
I do know that answer.
Ooh, we talked about it a year ago.
Because we have to see if the head is embedded in the pet.
Exactly. Because you pull off the body, it's still eating. It'll just grow another body or something. You got to be so careful of these little monsters and these little spiders, because if you pull off the legs and everything, guess what? They just burrow in. They're having, lunchtime. I guess they'll grow back a bottom later. But time and diligence, you can do a lot of things. I've seen people take any kind of bottle, especially the small ones, and they create a suction on their skin. And when they put it over the bug, and I know this is kind of gross, people are like, oh, but I don't want to leave them in my arm. It would be better to kill them on site. I'm just suggesting everybody's got to live their own choice. They're going to live where the bug is on the skin, it's sucking away, and you bring in any kind of cup, any kind of round anything. And then what does it lose? Oxygen. It loses oxygen. It can't breathe anymore. So what does it got to do? Dr. JACALYN, do you know what the bug's got to do?
It's got to die.
True. But what is it going to try to do before it dies?
Save its life.
Yeah, it's going to back out of your skin to save its life. And that is much better than you going with some tweezers and breaking its head and neck apart. And then you've got still the head, and its head still eating because they're just going, I'll just grow another one of those. But when you suffocate them, I hate to say that, but that's really what you're doing with a cotton ball full of Skinso sauce or a spray that they say is the best for this type of bug, whatever you choose. You could literally take olive oil and pour it on them and put a bandage on it somehow. I don't know, create sides on that liquid and drown them and have them come out. That's what you're looking for, is them to remove their head from your body instead of you taking those tweezers and accidentally pulling the head off. And I've seen, I had friends that we went camping, and one of them did it and didn't get the head, but she didn't know she didn't get the head. We ended up in the ER 2 days later because she had to get it cut out. And the little head does keep eating. It's kind of gross. But that's why suffocation, you can use peanut butter. You could use, mayonnaise is a little thin. You could use a little cup upside down if you get the suction right. There's a lot of things you can do in the moment and not have to go out and buy anything, because you probably have those types of things. A Band-Aid won't really work because it doesn't seal, not typically. You can get the big ones and they cover over. But you're looking for as quick as possible to get that little bug who's eating on you to back up on their own. You can dispose of them, kill them, whatever you want to do afterwards. But what you're trying to do is not leave the head back inside, because then you got to go to the doctor. You really do.
Yeah. And what about the Lyme disease? Okay, what do people need to do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, that one I'm going to almost not be able to help because it changes so fast. From what I read 2 years ago, and I haven't kept up on it, so that's on me. It's that it like we have the flu. The flu says, oh, we didn't do as well. We want to live longer. We want those hosts to feed us longer. And it's a bacterial, and they don't have any thoughts. But it sounds better to give them some lip service. But these bugs are on instinct. This is the way they were put together. This is the way they think, and this is what they do. That's why we know what they think, because we see what they do. So mosquitoes will go around blood to blood to blood to blood. They don't care whose blood it is, as long as they are going to get fed. So you need to outskip them, out jump them, out whatever that is. Not one treatment is good for all people. It might be you and I do really well on Skin So Soft. When I used it for bug, I was so surprised. And I was like, I'm putting baby oil all over me. It's really sticky. But it worked. But it didn't work all the time. Luckily, I wasn't in mosquito lands very often. So I didn't get any kind of problem with the things I was trying. I didn't have to use them for a long term. At the longest, it would have been 3 months, summer trip or something like that. Keep in mind, you might need to change. You might need to change things. But there's something in Skin So Soft. Again, an Avon product. You can get it from dealers online, people who still sell it. And you just put a little on a cotton ball, roll up some tissue, whatever you got, and then you dab the area. And for some reason, these mosquitoes absolutely hate the stuff. I bought a giant whole, it was like 3 liters, a ton of Skin So Soft when I went to Alaska. Because I was like, no, I am not going to be itching everywhere and all the time, because you create all kinds of problems when you do itch too much. And that's a whole nother show of, how much scab you live and how many scars you've got because you had so many mosquito attacks. So I loved going through Alaska. It was a wonderful experience. I advocate any kind of traveling for all of us, but be prepared for what that weather's like. It's the same thing if you're going to go to Florida and you're going to get all that humidity. Ladies, if you're fixing your hair, you might want to go with a simpler design if you're going to be in that much humidity. And then you go to the deserts, dry, 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 dry. You better bring a lot of lotion. Just depends on where you are, who and what you're going to be up against, and what kind of changes you need to make in your day-to-day life so that you also thrive and have a good time. Because I don't know about you, those mosquitoes in Alaska, and that was miserable because they bit, they sucked forever, and you'd think we'd catch them. That was almost impossible to catch them in the act and not get the reaction of all that itching. So be careful out there.
It's a den of opportunity and also danger. So do be careful for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, would you say that dogs and cats attract different types of insects, or it doesn't really matter? They're just
not on the whole. These bugs are looking for a place to put their eggs. Nice warm body works. And they're going towards another animal that is also has a really great supply of blood. So if we're talking about the mosquitoes, we're talking about these, eaters that will clamp into you. That is where it is. You're never going to find a squirrel. If you do, you need to get rid of the squirrel, but you're never going to find a squirrel knocking on your door going, hey, can I have a blood drink? I'm interested. No, because they're meat eaters. Know what you're going to. What is the plant life? What is the topography? Meaning, is the land flat? Is it boundy? Is it hills? How much water do I need to carry? What kind of every day am I going to go? I have camped in some places where they just have outhouses. So much fun. So much fun. And you knew that you better go while you're close, because your campsite or whatever, you're asleep in the middle of the night and you're going to walk all over there with a flashlight. Probably not. So act that way with the bugs you find and the insects you find, because so many of them, no, let me take that back. All of them have a purpose of being. Do we know why? I sure don't. Not all of them. I definitely haven't even come close to all of them in researching or having some kind of contact or understanding them. I was in many, many places. California doesn't have mosquitoes per se. And I was in many places as I was growing up that had really bad mosquitoes. And most people just stayed inside, and it drove me crazy. We actually would close the car doors and everybody'd say, okay, who's leaving? Who's wanting to leave? Because they were just amazing, their lifespan. And again, going there through Alaska I was thinking, isn't this like it's supposed to be really snowy here? Well, that's not all seasons and that's not all times. And they have some really, really amazing mosquitoes. And I know this not only because I saw it, but in one of the gift shops, Dr. JACALYN, do you know what they were selling in one of those gift shops? Not one. Lots of gift shops.
Swatters for the mosquitoes?
Stuffed mosquitoes. Plushies. Wow. They would hang them from the ceiling. And, because we were driving up and down the whole state. So we'd stop to get gas or whatever and stretch our legs. They would have like a 7-Eleven, and all of a sudden you look up and you go, are you kidding? You made a stuffy out of a mosquito? I never got to ask. I was a little young, 11-year-old going up to, so how many of those do you sell today? Because I'd love to know.
Maybe they keep the mosquitoes away.
Yeah, only if they're afraid of black fur with little bug eyes, plastic eyes, or I don't know. They were all different colors. And you just look up and they're hanging from the ceiling, and the Coke's in the cooler, and you go that way for the bathroom and you go, do people actually buy those? And we saw a lady carry one out, and I was like, I guess that's a yes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out what was the modus operandi for doing that.
I would love to. Could you imagine? I mean, I was tall enough to look a little older, but how cheeky. Hey, woman, why you buy that? Yeah. I wouldn't have had an accent with it.
I wonder if they still have it. But, on another topic with mosquitoes, there are mosquitoes from other parts of the world that carry disease as well. Some mosquitoes, I imagine, are innocuous, but I think it's hard to tell which is which. Whenever I see mosquitoes, especially those giant ones, I just want to get it out, because
and I don't like the itching. I don't like you. I'm like you. I don't care who it is. If you're gonna bite me and leave me itchy, no.
That's an exception to coexistence.
Well, exactly. I can handle a cat bite. I can handle a dog bite. I've already had those experiences, and and one was typically your pet type animals are going to reach out and bite you, scratch you, whatever their ability is to not be afraid. So they're trying to stand up for themselves. So they've got all their tools out going, I'm going to get you. I worked with snakes for years because I love it. I absolutely love it. The last time I did a youth program 3 years ago, I only had a garter snake. These are not poisonous, and we don't go and take the poisonous ones because California has plenty of them, and take their fangs out. Or no, that's not a thing. Then they can't hunt. But I walked up with this. I don't remember what type of snake it was, and but it was long enough to go around my shoulders, and then I had the head in my hand controlled, and I had the tail the other way. And I had these school kids, and they were just, some started screaming, some started to walk away, and then one or two tried to run. And that was when I had a problem with the snake. Do you know what kind of problem I had with the snake, Dr. JACALYN?
It bit you.
Mm-hmm. A couple of 3-4 times. because the kids freaked it out. It was like, oh my God, what's going on? These humans, where's the fire, basically? And I had draped him or her, I don't remember anymore, around my neck so I'd have some control to hold the tail and the head. And I'm trying to get the kids, they're starting to calm down, got on him, and still, you can feel down nurses. And the snake went, oh, I'm done. And he just started chewing on me. I just stood there. Sure, it would have been like having pins stuck through you. They didn't break my bones or anything like that. And I got the rest of the day off from work.
That was a win, right?
Yeah, I guess. But you walk away and I'm thinking, I sew. And I've sewed for years, just from the family I've got. I've stuck myself with pins many times. So yeah. I knew that I needed to be calm because my audience really needed me to be calm.
Yeah, for sure.
So you and I have done, at this age, a lot of work to really work on how we react to things and all of the ways we get there. And remind me the class that you do. What's it called?
Setting boundaries and asking permission, and the power of elevated listening.
That one, the listening. It is so vital. We don't do it well. We don't do it at all. Right. I'm being too nice. And that class is so valuable. I was thrilled when you were talking about it. And all the classes I had to go the same thing, because I'm dealing with trauma a lot of times, and not just what I was doing, but anyways, it was a part of one of my careers, and I was a mediator. Well, you can't have somebody mediating for you who's going to yell and scream and say, don't do that. No, we listen. Believe it or not, we listen. And then we give help when those are open. Animals are the same way. Animals need us to be calm and centered and aware that they don't want to die. That's not a thing. They want to protect their young. They want to protect their environment, and they want to protect themselves to be able to do all that with their family. If they're the alpha, they're the one taking care of everybody. You got the head horse, you got the head goat, you got all of these things. They are going to be concerned, especially if you're nervous, because we sweat or we move funny, or they pick on all of that. Their life, animals' lives, bugs' lives, are all about, what does my environment tell me? Oh, that one looks like I might find food over there. Oh, I got water over there. Oh, and I can stay in that tree and be safe. Think about how we coexist and how we go day to day saying, wait a minute, that bug matters, that one, even if you don't know. Do we know why we have ticks? No. I had a saying when I was a kid, I haven't used it except for to give the example here, is, oh, I'll just ask God later. I didn't understand the kids, you don't come back. So think about, just because we don't know the answer doesn't mean you can't ask a few professionals and or people who are doing, or pick up a book. Nowadays, you can Google it. You can just Google what you're looking for and find out more information of somebody who this is their career, this is the life of them doing it. Is everybody right the first time they read a book? Probably not. But it's great to jump off of that and say, hey, I want to find out more this way, not that way. I'm not learning what I had hoped. It's all out there. And I want to keep you laughing and fun and loving all of these birds, bugs, bees, all of that, because we need to do that. We are already at cliffside point of our planet getting too hot. Our waterways are drying up, which means we're losing the wildlife, which would have trimmed the trees, and so many other things. We have control of what we do, how much garbage you collect and don't recycle, how much food you throw away because you just didn't want to bother to eat the rest of that sandwich pie, whatever. Oh, the bread was kind of brown, toasted. There are ways to be more kind to each other, to our fellow ants and bugs and plants and trees, all of it. Just give yourself a couple of moments to think about how you want to go through the world. I get asked all the time, why did you pick that bug up? Isn't that butterfly dying? I said, yes, but wouldn't you rather die in a tree than in the gutter? Because I have seen that. I don't know, Dr. Jacalyn, you probably have gone on walks when you had the dogs or didn't have them, and all of a sudden you saw something that you're like, oh, I hope they're okay. And we've all done that. And they can be, especially if we keep our side of the bargain of not being the problem with trash and overusing our resources. You can't cut all these beautiful trees down like the one behind me in our background. I just absolutely love it. We need the oxygen. We won't survive without it. And that tree provides it. It has to be more than one.
Yeah, our behavior has consequences. So
absolutely.
Yeah, well, we've covered a number of topics. We talked about ticks. We talked about mosquitoes. We talked about skin so soft. We talked about snake bites. We talked about keeping the trees and taking care of the environment. What would you like to leave our global audience with for today's lesson, today's education?
I want it to be twofold. I want you to know what you don't know, or start looking into something I said that will jump you off into your truth, your interests. But don't be hard on yourself for what you didn't know. The hardship should come when you do nothing. When you do nothing and you don't change the sheets on your bed for the next 6 months, and you wonder why you smell funny and the bed smells funny. And if you don't, not feed the wildlife is what I'd like you all to do. Please don't. And maybe put out a bowl of water. That's really, really vital to all of us. But when we feed wildlife, we are taking away them from going pollinating the flowers. The little bees go up and all the pollen sticks to their little bottom and they go to the next flower, and that's how that one goes on and makes more flowers and on and on and on. Why we need the honeybee. I've got shows here with Dr. Jacalyn at least 2 or 3 times. They're vital to our ecosystem, to us eating at all, or having a nice, beautiful flower. I want to open people's mind that we are not alone. We will be if we don't change the way we're doing things.
Wow, that was beautiful. Beautiful synopsis as always. So we are going to have you share with people what are the ways people can get in touch with you and what are the services you can offer.
Okay. So I have a license and training, and that would be animals and people. I am a mediator, certified mediator, so I help people with their disagreements. And so I've got a lot of college, real life experience. For the city I live in currently, I actually did things for the city and did where you had conflict between employees. So I would do some seminars there with them. So what I can help with, I don't need you in my presence. You can be in any state, any place, going skiing down and we can put a microphone up. It's about your heart and where it is and your sincerity of wanting that help. And I will do the best I can. I am just one person. I am not all-knowing. Every person I meet, I wait and take the skills out that seem to fit for what you need in the moment. And that's what I offer, is to explain what your pets are talking about. Yes, I can hear animals talk. And I've had that all my life. It's not something I did. It was just, I was born. So animals have the right to participate. Please remember that. If you hire me, you hire anybody else, everybody has the right to participate or not. So I have the privilege of saying, yes, I'd love to take you on as a client. And maybe 1 or 2 sessions, I go, nope, I can't. I'm not helping you in the way I can. So many of us do try to be really upfront with everybody and say, this is what I can do. This is what we will work to do together. But you have to meet us halfway and you have to be as committed. And the same thing with your pets. If you're trying to teach them to sit when you tell them to sit, or you tell them to not poop in the house, yelling at them every time they poop, that doesn't necessarily go through. So there are tips that you can do to get your pet to always say, nope, you sit. I adopted a German Shepherd when my children were very small, and the dog was about as tight. So I could not have this dog jumping on my kids or anything they on a leash and they off their hand goes. That was a really big deal. So I had to not only teach the dog, but I had to teach my girls and say, no, you cannot do it that way. And when we first were doing walking, here's one of the tips I used. I held the leash also. We actually turned it into almost like 2 pieces. My daughter got one of them at a time, got the experience of walking with Jake, but I had the other leash. So I could get Jake to slow down because he was amenable to all of it. He loved the kids, but he didn't understand his own strength because he'd always been in a backyard abandoned. Think about what you can do and where you need help and where you need a little more education. The best place, go to a library, talk to a librarian. They are so amazingly informed on all these books and can really give you the help and the tips just by watching some videos, reading some books. It's really that simple. It just depends on what we want to focus on. Because remember, sometimes we focus on the wrong thing and we got to make a turn. That's true for everybody.
Absolutely. Great points as always. Nice way to summarize everything for our show today. And to all of our people across the world, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening on the podcast platforms. Thank you for being with us all this time. And Pet Psychic Amina, thanks for being here as well. And
thanks for having the show.
Yeah.
I am so pleased. I mean, you and I are 2 peas in a pod, and it's like, this is happy day.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful day. So
Absolutely.
We look forward to seeing you next week. And in the meantime, we have shows tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. We have shows 7 days a week now. So check us out on our YouTube channels, Amazon Fire, Roku, Zizzle TV, at E360 TV.
Well, and I find, just so everybody knows, I have already downloaded 2 of your older shows because they were perfect examples to send to somebody and say, okay, this is what I'm talking about. And,
Nice.
you know, because sometimes we don't explain things the way people hear it.
Right.
And you have done so many more wonderful shows that I now go through the whole thing. Okay, I'm looking for this title and I put it in. Poop, poop, poop. I get 4 or 5 at least. I love it. There's choices. And then I send that to them. And it's not me preaching to them. It's not me saying, oh, come on, I told you how to mop yesterday. Not that you're teaching mopping. But something so silly. And then you go over and you see somebody else's perspective, and it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you personally, except for you were the crowned woman to put it together. So I've started dipping in when people say, oh, I don't know. I said, let me send you a video, because we are very, especially since the pandemic, we're very, very much attached to the visual. So thank you. And anybody would think about it, go, I don't know, you tell me, can you put in search words? Is that the best way to find topics?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, or Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Go in the search bar and just put in the topics and it'll come up.
Perfect. And you usually get, the last 2 times I did it was a couple months ago, I got 3 or 4 to choose from. And it was great. So tell everybody I love it. I love what they're doing. And
we have over 50 shows. So
yeah. Thank you, ma'am. See you Friday.
Thank you. All right. See you Friday. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.